to Viewpoints and Points to View. Tonight I'm with Kevin Stuart Swain, and Kevin's going to tell us about his life, his personal philosophy, and we'll go right to that question right now. Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your achievements in your life, where things started to go well for you. You can give us any information that you'd like to, and we're really happy to hear what you have to say.
Oh, great. Well, I was born in England. I emigrated to Canada when I was quite young. Didn't fit in with school. I think even just the cultural differences of being British kind of stood out. So I found I didn't really find my place. That my tribe kind of rejected me. And when I was quite young, 12, 13, I was looking to know what I was going to do for the rest of my life, even that young. And I was also exploring spiritual things. I was checking out transcendental meditation and Buddhism and looking at careers. And I decided I was going to be a musician. So I made the decision to be a musician before I was a musician, before I knew how to play anything. I decided I was going to be a bass player. Kind of weird. So that's what I did, and that's what I've chosen to do with my life. For good or bad, that's where I am right now. And I just do it because I love it. I love the attention. I think one of the things a lot of musicians got into music because they always wanted that acceptance of the tribe that rejected them. I want all these people to love me, and it's been an interesting journey, and I think I've grown as a person spiritually. I think I've done good. I've made people happy, and that's where I'm at right now. I've gotten to play with heroes of my childhood, people I used to listen to on the radio. I've performed with and performed the songs I used to listen to, and actually got to play with that guy, and I count some incredibly talented people as friends. There's a community. We band together. We try to help other people.
So these people that you played with, that you idolized, and do we know them? Who are they?
Actually, one is Idolize. It sounds quite similar to I started out with a fellow named Barney Bentall, and if you've heard of the Bentall Centers in Vancouver, one of the richest families out here, in the days I played with him, he was my first major sort of person I played with. He didn't want anyone to know he was a Bentall, so we used to, I should ask him sometime. I assume that was the reason, but he called himself Brandon Wolf. And I started the band with him, did the first record, which even then was a big deal. We're in Little Mountain, which is a famous studio. The producer is Paul Rudolph, that was with Brian Eno and Hawkwind, the guy that replaced Lemmy from Motorhead in that band. So at 16 or 17, whatever I was in some heavyweight situations. Barney went on to win a Juno. I went from Barney to Idolize, who also went on to win a Juno. But I quit both bands, so before I was an adult, before I was 19, I quit two bands that won a Juno, which if you're listening overseas, that's our version of the Canadian Grammys. So I was living with this weight of, what did I do? Already I'm just, fortunately a few years after I quit Idolize, they had a big hit with a song that I'd written with them. So I got some redemption there, where a song I wrote became a Canadian somewhat hit, and another big producer, a fella that went on to work with Soundgarden.
Which song was that?
It was a song called Sandra Doesn't Live Here.
Okay.
And just one of those chance things where we wrote this tune and it did something. So that was a nice thing. With music, like anything, the 10,000 hour rule. When you put 10,000 hours into it, you start to get a handle on what you're doing. I spent a lot of my 10,000 hours just in top 40 bars across Canada playing other people's songs. So I kind of let that initial success I left, went into just being a cover player, and now coming back to my roots of being creative, of writing, of playing original music with original artists, and the dreams are kind of coming true.
You mentioned a few other bands or people you work with too.
After that, so that was my younger years. Then we did all this top 40. People like Lee Aaron, who's famous here for a song called What You Do to My Body. She's quite well known internationally.
What did you do with her?
I just performed with her. I did some touring.
Okay.
I just played with her live. Mostly that's what I do. You know, people hire me. I worked with Thor, who if you watch Netflix right now, there's a show called I Am Thor about his life. Interesting fella. I could go into it, you know, but Thor was another one. Anyway, like that sort of culminated. The artist that I'm working with that I'm really excited about is a fellow named Al Harlow, who's from a band called Prism, who, you know, were heroes of mine growing up. And it's a real dream come true. So Al and I are making a record. We've been working with another fellow from my childhood that also grew up in North Van, where I'm from, named Ray Roper, who was with a band called Stonebold. And he's kind of been coming in and out of this too. He kind of brought us together. So now I'm working with Al and we're creating his original music, mostly like his vision for himself as an original artist. He's been kind enough to allow me to come in and contribute some songs and input and just help make this dream happen. And it's amazing. We've played live, we create in the studio, all the things I want to do, all the things I used to do when I was young. I'm doing it now, so.
Well, wonderful. It's better late than never.
Mm-hmm.
And you're moving forward. You have a solo album you're working with and contributing to with Al Harlow as well, and that's what you're working with. And you have a movie coming up that you're participating in. I think you provided a song, your songwriter, and you've given permission for the song to be used in a movie called Fentanyl. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're really hoping this comes together. It's obviously fentanyl, but from the title, it's about drug abuse and it's about the tragedy of that. And I love movies, you know, anyway. I would love to be involved in this movie. I am involved in this movie. I'm really hoping that all the projections, you know, happen, that this movie it happens and soon it gets seen by a lot of people and that it helps in some way, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm very excited about that.
All right. So let's take a moment and tell us a little bit about your future ideas for yourself. Where do you see yourself in the future?
Looking into the future, I don't do that. And I remember I had to do a job interview. I tried to be a normal person a few years ago, and I did a job interview. And one of the questions is, where do you see yourself 5 years in the future? And it's probably lost me the interview because I wasn't prepared for that question. And I've thought about it a lot, but I would say, you know, the spiritual delving, which, you know, since I've been young, I've been really looking into figuring life out, figuring myself out. And I really adhere to the in the moment, you know. I don't see myself in the future, and I try not to see myself in the future or the past, just right now. And so I see getting better every day, getting better at what I do, getting better as a human being, and enjoying the gift of life, not feeling bad about being happy, you know, find happiness. Just enjoy this gift every day like it could be your last. And part of being happy is being a good person, being able to look yourself in the mirror and being happy with what you see and helping, you know.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much for sharing about your belief and your spirituality and the points that you made. I think happiness is one of the most important achievements that a person can have in their life. And I think if we direct our attention toward what qualifies that for ourselves, I think we have a chance then to feel fulfilled. I think there are too many people today that are just doing whatever they have to do to survive, and they don't find at the end of the day that they're feeling happy about what they have or what they've achieved. And you seem to have achieved that, so that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing it. Well, Kevin, this is going to bring us to the next part of Viewpoints and Points to View. There's two parts of Viewpoints and Points to View where our guests talk about their life, their achievements, and things they'd like to do in the future, and also their personal philosophy, their heartfelt feelings toward life, toward people, toward spirituality or God, or anything that they would like to communicate that is their philosophy. So Kevin, what is your philosophy in life? And you can relate this particular question to any subject matter that you care to.
Okay, philosophy in life. It's a big question. Well, I believe in God, and okay, there's sort of the practical day-to-day thing, and then there's the lofty thing. I'm going to go for the lofty thing first. So I believe in God. My belief is God is that life energy that's in everything. It's in the universe, it's in every human being, every tree, everything. And I believe because of that, the issues in the world about one God, I think there is one God. It's that life force, but the words you choose to describe it, and the words or books or philosophies you use to get close to that God, are not worth fighting and dying over. And they're all taking you to the same place. I think of a lot of religions and dogmas and books as like buses that take you to this final stop. And that final stop isn't Buddhahood or getting to where Jesus was or any of the great masters. It's a stop where it goes, this is as far as words and images and concepts can take you. We're leaving you here now. And God's way down there. And you can't use words anymore. And any of them that are from the heart and true and honest. I can't say every religious philosophy, every book is for real. It could not be. But the real true ones, the ones that stand the test of time, the ones that were done with love, I think they all take you to that last stop. So when I've probably never talked to anybody about this, but when I'm at my most, when I try to connect with that is when I go for walks in the woods near my house. And I pray, and I do affirmations. And my prayer is that in all humility, this is just what I think. I think that there's a universal God out there, and I think that I have a choice, free will. The whole mystery of being a human being is I can deny that and shut myself off and try to be an island, or I can accept it, invite it, and not only bring it into me to be part of that whole pool of life, but to actually, make that pool of life better. And so I affirm that, and I ask for what I want, and I also give gratitude for what I've got, and with affirmations that I could go into too. And that's where I've got to so far in this life. And on a practical day-to-day, I just try to be as honest as I can. I try to be as empathetic as I can. I try to give as much as I can. I try not to get in guilt spirals that I'm not doing good enough. I'm quite comfortable with being imperfect and just being a man, and if I can do better every day, that's good enough. Like I'm not lazy with it. But I'm not guilty with it. I have good days and bad days. I do good things. I try to care about people. I try to really be happy. I try not to feel guilty about being happy. Whether it's, I don't have a lot of money or anything. I'm not leaving a big footprint on the planet. I'm really trying to give back a lot more than I take. And I think it's my right and my duty to be happy. And, that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Well, Kevin, I just want to thank you so much for coming in here and sharing your very deep personal views and getting down to the fundamental principle of your personal philosophy. It's very dear to each other's heart. And this show is about doing that. It's about allowing for people to have a platform where they can have a few moments in time in this life to leave a message to the rest of the world. We can have money, we can have all sorts of things that we want to leave behind, but they don't stay anywhere. They eventually dissolve. But what you create in artwork, what you create from your word is the spirit, your own thought. And when you put that forward, you record that as we're doing right now, you're allowing individuals to see you for who you are and how you want to present yourself to be. Once the body's gone, for those who care, and I'm sure there will be some, I won't be around too, so I'll have to enjoy the pleasure of your company now. I want to thank you for joining us with Viewpoints and Points to View with Kevin, Stuart, Swain, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.